oversell this series, and if DK don't very, very rapidly get their gameplay together.
One thing we haven't had is a reverse sweep. We've had a lot of 5 gamers.
Yeah, we've also had
but
the
we haven't had the reverse sweeps though, have we?
Yeah, they're rare for a reason. I feel like this to me so far is feeling more like just a straight up 3-0.
Do you know what the one main prerequisite for a reverse sweep is though? To be down 0-2. And do you know what DK are right now? They are down 0-2. So I don't know whether I had to really spell it out for you, but I'm sure this is how it happened.
There is a lot against them, though, right? They've looked rough in this series so far. We did predict it for them.
Oh, yeah.
Jonas Strong predicted against them, you know?
Oh, God.
A lot of odds to fight against for them. And, you know, draft opens up. They have left the Nidalee open this time.
I can't help but
notice.
notice.
And the Poppy now. So I assume a Poppy... But it's GENG who now banned the Nidalee. So I assume you pick up the Poppy first pick?
Unless you want a Lilia. That's
For
what
Lucid
is considering right now.
And he has been incredible at it. The Lilia is something that should also work well with the champion pool of Shio and Showmaker. Now, Poppy still insanely high power. I think we can also look towards the Ashe. Now that we've gotten a little bit deeper into the series, I feel like she will rise up in priority and would make a lot of sense. It's also ruler.
Yeah.
Piloting it, so it makes a ton of sense in that regard.
Sticking
I think
to
also
archery
works well if you end up with a Poppy in the support role, because she's not got as clear, easy engage as like a Nautilus or Leona. You don't just have press a button, we go in. And having an AD carry who can do that for you has a ton of value. So Ashe, Poppy looking like a very good rotation here. I'm interested to see what Showmaker ends up playing with the Lilia. Not had the most impactful series so far. We've seen him pair well with the likes of things like Pantheon, but we get the MF Nautilus, so...
The classic Lilia MF, we don't wake you up when we do the bullet times.
You know what? We've seen this combo a decent amount in the LCK Cup, and I can't remember a single time we've seen them do that combo.
Actually do it. I do think that after we saw Viper pilot that one MF game that should have been unplayable, you know, maybe aiming Soul Dies, like,
maybe this champion's good.
I don't think she is, but we'll see. I'm with you though. Like, if we don't actually see the combo come through even once, I'm gonna be very mad.
I will say, Zyra into MF Lilia doesn't feel great, but I think this could possibly be the worst experience for a Nautilus ever into Poppy, Zyra, Ashe.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to play the game? If you queue in, you get interrupted, there's plants to get in the way, you're never running. You're always walking, and not even fast. You're like stumbling around from all the slows. It's painful.
Which is why they're flexing the Nautilus.
Do you know what I want? I want the Rocks Tigers bottom lane. That's what I want. I want the Ashe Zyra, and I want Canyon to be playing the Poppy, because honestly, Duro didn't really inspire me that much when he was playing the Poppy.
Isn't the MF specifically a counter into... That's why it was picked in the first place, right? Like, that's the whole... That was like the big thing, because you can queue for the plants.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
so I think that's the reason why.
Less good, but still, it would be fun.
I didn't want to kill your dreams, Atlas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. My dreams. It was pretty.
It was a 5-gamer.
Yeah, they weren't super looking good at this point in the day.
Yeah, Showmaker Dreams dying a bit with the Pantheon being banned.
The LeBlanc as well.
Yeah, we did see the set, I believe, paired with the Lilia as well was something he played.
Chovy's also played that one, so they could pick it away from him if they'd like to rub salt in the wound. And both of these teams are looking for AD mid laners as well. So that is sort of hitting a premium right now, as the Smolder is a big one that Chovy has certainly had a field day on in the past. Let's see what he does decide to pick up here, or whether we're going to get the Keen pickup, as that's an Ahri. Not exactly the most inspiring mid-jungle as the Zyra Ahri, but we'll see what they do decide to go with.
Yeah, maybe concerned if there is something like this set coming out that you want something with a bit of mobility to avoid that. It's definitely, I mean, it was already hard to get on top of Genji's backline. It is definitely hard now. And to be honest, I think about the set, playing set as Zyra also seems painfully unfun, so...
Tryndamere, though.
Still
into Poppy sounds awful, yeah.
Anything melee,
I
really.
kind of like this. I'm also okay with that. The downside, obviously, of this is that you are looking at a scenario where your 2v2 is a lot worse because you're going for double AP. Also, just looking at it, right? Like, it's again, so much of what has made D+ feel great, has been Showmaker having that impact. I think on the Rise early on that's harder to do. He's also been amazing though, as this is a blind pick here for Shiu, and it's just going to be his combo pick. And I think they also knew that this was coming. If this ends up coming through, like that was very clearly telegraphed, and that's probably what Keen is going to pilot.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes you end up with these compositions with a lot of bulky front line that Lilia can kind of just run circles around, and they can't really do enough damage to her. But, I mean, this is a squishy comp from GENG, but also they have a lot of damage.
There's a lot of circles as well.
Yeah, so I feel like it's one of those games where you can just get exploded. You know, even though the Rise and the Lilia feel quite bulky in a lot of games, I don't think you'll survive very long if any CC hits from the side of GENG, and they do have a lot of CC.
Not to mention the fact that they've also got Cannon Barrage, which makes Lilia's life a whole lot worse. I just feel like when you're Lilia, you want to be abusing that massive amount of movement speed that you have.
Yeah,
and you just don't have a lot of that.
Ash as well, and then you also look at the fact that when it comes to trying to ever engage onto anyone, has already been highlighted, was already hard. Gangplank adds even another layer to that. And who tanks an arrow on DK? No one. No one tanks the arrow.
It's got to be Beryl.
Well, yeah, and then he like hooks out and prays.
No, then he dies with his Beryl. So
right, that's all part of his game.
It's while
plan.
he's going in.
Yes.
Nice.
Maybe it's Showmaker once he's built a Banshee's Veil.
We need to see that Showmaker.
Yep.
And Rise is the type of pick to get it done.
Yeah, does give them a good amount of side lane power as well. Rise does well in the RE, but also has a decent time into the GP.
That's this guy's toast. Hey man, welcome. Didn't know that he was here today. Very, very cool stuff.
I think his team is doing bootcamp here.
Aha, that would make sense. Getting in there a little bit early.
Well, he's feeling good. His team is up 2-0.
Not
good day to show up, honestly.
And definitely a good day to choose the GENG sign.
Exactly.
That is 100% it. We'll see whether it stays that way as we dive onto the Rift for Game 3. Well, GENG fans in full voice today. And I just want to go back to Disguised Toast just for a second, because his name was like a pun on the Hearthstone character.
It's the Fire's ringleader, yes.
Yeah. This guy's toast. But it's like, do people just not even get that that's the reference anymore?
No, of course not.
It's kind of crazy.
And guess what? That card's coming back.
Wait, Orcs is looking at us oblivious.
He had no idea.
Did you have any idea?
I'm not a Hearthstone guy.
No, it's
a bit of a boo.
It's buffed. It's coming back on the next rotation.
Oh, is it really?
It really is.
Oh, yeah, you still play the real game, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Since the beginning. Every now and then we take a break. You know the 5 stages of grief?
Yes.
The only one you need to know is denial, because that's where I am right now. I was feeling
You're just going to get stuck there?
Yes, that's where I'm stuck right now. I was feeling a 5-game banger. I was really hoping that we were going to have the classic, the back and forth, the crazy moments, everything that GENG and DK series has given us for so many of the past years. And right now, I'm not feeling too good.
You know, I think that I've been in that denial stage since 2021. And I've never left. I think I've just always thought that DK have had it in him.
The way you talk about Beryl, that does actually make a ton of sense.
And I mean, in Beryl's defense.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, not a jungler!
Lucid's getting duroed. Oh, dear.
Right.
Well, watch out. Eve is looking for a turnaround. Yeah, he does manage to hit that level 2, as Duro was thinking, wait, I can't let him get away with it. So he's just going to wander back in yet again.
Yeah, and you know what the thing with Zyra is, as we all know, is that her clear speed is a little crazy. He is going to clear 3 camps while Lucid has cleared 1.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. The barrels are also going to connect onto Showmaker here. As Shiu's down to 200 health as well. Barrels making his way forward, though. There's the flash! Nailing the stun from the passives. Can they take down Chovy? That's the question. The answer is going to be absolutely yes, as Shiu on the board extremely early.
I think Beryl also tried to hook Keen there based on his position, right?
Yeah.
Like he went for the auto and tried to walk past. As Canyon.
Oh, he misses it completely, but nails the Q. So
Yeah,
he's going to do a
also-
lot of damage.
You know, I think the move from Beryl made great, but Zyra has been doing this thing where she kills her jungle camps and gets level 3.
Wasn't it
Noticeably-
Canyon?
Yeah, that invade was not. Like,
Yeah.
the play mid was great. That invade against Zyra, you can't. Like, there's no world in which
The thing is, I don't get it, because either she cleared towards top side,
Yes.
those camps are gone, or she
she's
cleared towards
there.
bot side, she's level 3, and
No,
you're a
I-
level 2 Lilia and a level 1 Nautilus with no sums.
That invade made no sense.
Wasn't it? But also, wasn't it Canyon that debuted the Zyra when she sort of came back into vote once again against DK, and also did the mega speed clear?
Oh, and there's no smite for Lucy. This is gone.
Yep, Kane has his.
Yeah. So
And
he just walks in and steals it away. And he doesn't... Okay, he does actually smite it away, as Showmaker's going to have to flash, but the Rune Prison is down.
Barrel's on its way.
Managing to land a lot of damage here. As Canyon still with the flash, does use it here. As
He's going in!
Lucid immediately getting out of there as Duro, the flash heroic charge, and he is out. Not scot-free, though, as that is 2 flashes now on cooldown.
At least it's signs of life, though. I don't know if DK need to go quite this hard.
No.
They
They
do a lot of
do.
flashing.
Okay.
They definitely do. right?
No pullbacks, no breaks.
You can't ease back into this series and slowly ramp it up. It's pedal to the metal. Look at Beryl. This is how you have to play the game every single time. It doesn't matter.
He is so pedal to the metal. He's chosen a skin that's entirely made out of metal.
Now, levels are just a state of mind, okay?
Well, he's got all... he also
Keen is
has
gonna-
a passive that works like a button, so it's like he's got 3 levels. As Keen, he's bearing the brunt of it as the barrels are doing a little bit of work here. He still has flash and still has oranges, so he was never going to die. Still, the message has been sent.
Did we catch why Ruler flashed?
No.
That also happened. Maybe she will force it out of him, because I think they've been laning. While all of this has been happening, they've been laning against one another. Also, Duro also acknowledging that levels are a state of mind.
It could also just be solidarity with the support, you know. Sometimes you have to think that maybe Ruler just said, my support flashed, I will flash too.
Oh, that is beautiful camaraderie.
It is.
That's some real thanks, Alistair energy. You know?
Iconic Ruler moment. In case you're not sure, as
This is where the flash happened.
It was in fact Shio just getting on top of Ruler as Maganar. So good call there by Ruler.
So it wasn't solidarity.
No,
that's
just-
worrying for
just a
Genji.
mistake.
Or it was just opportunely timed at the same point where
He has to
needed
make
the flash
it look
to save his
legitimate.
life.
Yes,
I want
yes,
to do a
yes.
small history lesson. People might not know that. Hey, good job, Alistair bit.
Yeah,
So this was during a time when we had a lot of substitutions, and Lospa came in from the GENG Challengers team, played a great Alistair game, and then in the comms, Ruler was like, great job, Alistair, as opposed to...
That was when the Nexus was dying as well.
As opposed to saying the name of his teammate, or even, you know, their tag.
Yeah.
It's just, good job, Alistair.
It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. As Ruler takes a fair bit of damage from that double up here. As Duro's the one that's copping the brunt of it. In goes Lucid. I think Duro is definitely dead, and there he goes. 2-0 up now for DK, and despite the fact that Genji found some decent angles in the early game in the jungle was kind of good, this is not quite working. It's Chovy with an absolutely gorgeous charm to turn it around. I was mid-sentence, Genji. Let me praise DK.
Lucid's 2 levels down. Like, we are not getting the rest of these grubs. And it's the use of the lack of flash. Showmaker flashed earlier in that bot side skirmish. Chovy punishes him hard.
Well, there is a make it rain in a bullet time as aiming is flashing on top of Ruler, and he finds the extra autos, but he trades it 1-for-1. Keen throws the ultimate into the abyss, just as a sign of solidarity himself, I guess. But Genji, 2 kills to come back, but that is feats of strength over to DK, I guess, in the kill department.
You know, I was the person who said levels were a state of mind, but they are looking pretty important right now in this jungle matchup. This is a good play, though. Even though the W comes out from Duro, it doesn't really stop Barrel connecting. And here, just no flash on Showmaker allows that charm flash to come from Chovy, beautifully set up. And then Canyon just chases Lucid away, because really, there's just nothing you can do.
And goes and gets level 6 from that gank in the mid lane as well, so it all just kind of piles in on top of itself as aiming.
This is that awkward moment where after your passive is gone on MF, you're just not doing that much damage.
I think it's not just because of the feats, but, you know, you deny the wave. I think the really big thing is that he flashed, and Ruler's flash is going to be up soon. And I don't think this is the easiest game to play as MF, because there is a lot of backline dive, there is a Poppy on the enemy team as well. But at least you are getting some help in the gold department as...
There's the arrow.
Yeah.
It's going to sail towards the bottom
Would
side.
have definitely been Showmaker dead. Canyon was also in the general vicinity there.
And we've been talking a lot about the jungle matchup and, you know, Chovy managing to pick up that kill and then Ruler Duro, but it's Keen's Gangplank. Now, we talk about Keen Sante, things like this. He's been making Gangplank look broken since he was the only player on Afrika. Like, This guy has been so good at the Pirate, and he still scales exceptionally well. He's going to be a big problem moving into the later stages of the game, is what I'm kind of thinking. And as you can see, the XP, Canyon is first place, but the rest of the top 3 are also GENG.
I love that we got the graphic earlier showing the CS and like highlighting the difference in the junglers, and now we're getting the graphic showing the XP just to really hammer home how cooked the jungle matchup is right now.
Zyra will always outpace because her early speed is so much better. Like Lilia eventually, I think, catches up because her movement speed is so crazy. So once you get an item, you're actually able to cycle for your camps very quickly.
And as well, right?
Yeah, well, of course. But just even saying that it's relatively even, but the early clear you're never going to be able to match. But then add to that the fact that Duro very heavily invaded, which he did a great job of. Then secondly, the fact that Lucid has been playing very heavily for impact on the map. And it just means that he is not going to catch up in the gold department anytime soon.
The problem is as well, he got the smite upgrade a lot earlier than Lucid did, so he just walked into his jungle and smited the Raptors before he even got into range of Lucid's smite. And right now, it's still 8 stacks ahead of him.
But 35 CS, just that's a large amount of camps. Also able to take this dragon, as we can see here. And the Hextech Drake going over to GENG. As you can see, Ruler and Duro now moving towards the bottom side. No real plate damage being done outside of mid lane and the bottom lane plate that DK were able to pick up for themselves. But man, it's feeling so similar to the first 2 games in this series, and we need a reverse sweep, right? Like that's
no, this is
we need 5 games at least.
We're building suspense.
Okay, well,
it's going to keep on building.
Someone needs to let DK know that there is no game after this if they lose.
There's Barrel.
They cannot keep building.
Barrel's looking. I don't think he's going to get anything. And yeah, the early game was very explosive, but as soon as we settle into just normal laning, GENG takes over again. So I actually think the chaos was appropriate, and we need to see more of it.
Yeah, any sort of downtime in the action, I feel like, is just favoring GENG. And this isn't even like this is just how GENG is. You know, the slower game where they end up just gradually pulling ahead.
Yeah,
feels really painful when you're on the opposite side of it.
There are a lot of scaling elements, I guess, on both sides. You know, Ryze will be doing more and more, although he will be doing a bit of dying here as Stranglethorns goes down. He does flash away, but it's not going to be enough, and he's going the wrong direction as everyone gets sleepy. Canyon going to be going down as Chovy has to get himself out of their bowling ball. Going to miss, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Definitely a good trade there for DK.
You know what's the sad thing is we nearly saw the combo. This sleep with the bullet time.
Yeah, right.
They fell asleep just outside of it, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. The trade comes through. Showmaker without his flash, though, could be in a vulnerable spot, but Lucid, I think, very much appreciating some alone time without Canyon breathing down his neck.
Yep, being able to grab these grubs as well, and the fact that they were able to get that first one in the first round means that if he's able to secure all of them, then it is going to be some Void Mites to come on out as he's taking a lot of damage, but this is just the thing that happens, and he's got some honey fruit.
Yeah, you know,
got a few as well.
If you weren't aware that he was a little bit behind, you know, if the several graphics and us talking about it didn't make it clear, I think this does really.
It's been a while since I've been worried about a jungler taking grubs by themselves.
Yeah.
As this flash from Showmaker, man, this is exactly the energy we were talking about. Flashes in, basically guaranteeing his death. As you point out, I think that aiming, not quite getting the combo there, but as long as they get the kill there as they do, it also means that now the lead for Lucid is a lot less bad as in we go.
Yeah, Realm Warp to bring Showmaker towards his top lane as Keen is pretty tanky, to be honest. He is getting taken down lower and lower, and there is the combo from Showmaker to lock that one down. Chovy turns up, misses the charm though. Canyon with a lot of damage as Showmaker the first one to go down. Chovy almost surviving. Manages to utilize the Q, but it's not quite enough, and Beryl limps his way out another 1-for-1. 1-for-2. I tell a lie, as Keen had fallen down earlier. Maybe it's a 2-for-2, as now Duro going to move in, pushes Shiu back, doesn't manage to get the full hop, and I think is going to pay the price. Ruler locks that one down with the Q doing that extra damage.
Yeah, so hard to play against the Poppy there as the Gnar.
Yeah.
You can't hop onto her and get the bounce as she'll just block you. But ultimately, Chovy going in for that play without ultimate kind of just fell flat in this scenario. So the dive was very slow, which gave time for GENG to move and react. But you can tell they're just trying to avoid taking too much damage. I think Beryl thought he had aggro there, so he queued away. But in the end, he wasn't the one with the aggro initially. Chovy turns up, but as I said, no ultimate, doesn't end up hitting the charm, and it's mostly Canyon who makes this close, but doesn't quite have the damage to kill Beryl, and the last plant hits aiming instead.
Beryl going into auto that plant as well was very unnecessary.
Beryl was actually playing PvE the whole time because he was killing barrels in the first part of the play and then plants immediately afterwards.
Yep. And there, as you point out, there was just, I think, not really a way for Shiu to live there, unfortunately, unless he clocks the play earlier.
It's one of those...
He really should have, because if there's no response from Poppy on the top side play, you should know they're on the bottom half of the map.
It's one of those horrible situations, though, where it's just a Poppy and an Ashe, so you think, I can probably make my way out of this, but in reality, I think the correct call was just to save the flash, because there's so little you can do there.
Showmaker taking a lot of damage. There's the charm connecting, but Chovy's getting sleepy and isn't actually going to be put to sleep, so it's fine. Keep his verdict, just to zone everyone away from this turret. And when you've got set plays like this available to you by like just pressing R on Poppy when you're near a turret you want to kill, it does feel like GENG are going to be feeling comfortable moving throughout the rest of the game as well, because it's such a good siege tactic as the game goes later.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big reason why Poppy's prioritized so heavily. The fact that you can just channel it, just release it, like not actually use the ultimate, and it's back within 15 seconds. You're not even committing resources, that's the thing, to the play. You just have that free advantage, essentially.
All right, Keen not going to find too much joy with that barrel chain, but you can see double the amount of plate gold going over to GENG. 5-6 is the kill score. DK have at least been able to find some picks in this early stage of the game. And we don't have feats of strength locked down just yet. First turret going over to GENG, and the kills going over to DK. And so now we're looking for the objectives. Who's going to be able to get the next 2 for their team? Try and upgrade those shoes. As GENG looking like they have a bit of extra control of the map. They have already started off this dragon, so that is going to put the extra notch into their objective count.
Gonna go down here. We do have the Herald spawning in about a minute. Do you think that DK are gonna try and play towards that? And this does feel like a bit more playable for DK, because I do think that this composition should excel when it comes to the team fighting. Poppy, to me, is the biggest issue outside of the great disengage that they're for GENG. But specifically, I think Lucid in team fights has been a really solid Lilia, keeping the sleep for the right opportunity. But they got to really out-execute, because again, they're going to be like 1.5K gold down going into these fights.
One of my concerns is it's difficult to approach, right? Lucid's behind, he can get blown up easily. Beryl, it's horrible playing Nautilus into this comp, and the thing is, you kind of have to be the one to approach, because if you just have a standoff, then GENG can fish with things like the RA Charm or the Arrow, but also Duro can just channel his ult. And that can be enough where a fight doesn't even need to happen for GENG to secure objectives.
The follow-up is so obscene as well. If you do manage to land that arrow, then you have Grasping Roots, Charm, and then Cannon Barrage and everything else. Like, even if you then try and counter-engage, because they've used a lot of single-target CC, the amount of AoE that then just rains down on top is kind of insane. So, Hook, max range just needs one extra link. Beryl, as Grasping Root's going to connect, but not too much more, and didn't have plans to back it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Hook connecting would have been a good thing.
It would not have.
No. With the Zyra and the Ashe over the wall, but I think Beryl was just trying to see if he could.
They have set a position now. I do think that the one weakness that GENG have is retaking control of an area can be quite hard, unless you can set up a lot of poke damage, which we do see Keen, Canyon, Ruler all moving forward.
Yep, Keen walks over a ward, DK getting that information,
That's
and they will immediately back away. Yeah, like you were saying, not going to be a great time for Shiu to teleport in. They do want to contest this Rift Herald. They've bought a bit of time. I guess there is that, as aiming's going to move on over as well. Let's see whether they can land this sleep combo as Make It Rain comes down. Arrow going to be flashed there by Beryl very nicely. The bowling ball just barely making it all the way through as the bullet time is going to be channeled into Keen, and he just doesn't care. Showmaker now dives into the thick of things, and Canyon's going to immediately make him regret it. And GENG can do no wrong in this fight, as already the Rise is on the floor. Beryl's looking for this longer chain once again, as Depth Charge is going to connect onto Chovy. Everyone's getting sleepy, but it doesn't seem to matter. As the flash over from Ruler, it's vintage kiting here from the Ashes. He does go down immediately afterwards, as the barrel not going to connect, but aiming is out of the fight, and GENG, they find a convincing one.
Just feels so hard for T+ to approach these situations. They're trying to find angles in, but GENG just throwing so much damage back in return. Showmaker in this Rise, just in these fights, feeling like a liability on a mobile pick that can be targeted so easily. And as you said, whenever any CC hits, more follows.
And Beryl tries to look for the player, but gets knocked away immediately. I think aiming needs to be slower with these ultimates. Not in a position there where you can actually pull it off, especially because the other part of his players were playing towards the top side of the river, trying to look for something there, unable to find, and then this TP to come through and attempt to turn. And if Lucid actually hits Ruler, like at least you get the cleanse, doesn't quite find the sleep on him, ends up going down immediately, and Shio arrives, is mega, but it's too little and too late.
Yeah, has to immediately back away. I got a little bit overexcited with the whole Ruler situation. He did do a flash forward, and that sort of triggered something in my brain, but then did immediately fall down afterwards. Definitely the right energy that we're looking for on this guy, though, as they move further into this game.
Now we have a situation where GENG, they have the feature strength locked in, 2,000 gold up, they have those 2 dragons in pocket. Dragon coming up in about a minute, but on the opposite side from
there are things on the ground, and the arrow is going to connect there as Lucid. Not going to die just yet, and he is actually going to be able to walk his way out. Duro dies. I have no idea how that eventuated the way that it did, but nicely done there by DK.
I want to highlight, yeah.
I guess.
I guess it's fine. Lucid definitely feels like he should have died. Walking back into the volley was also optimistic. Aiming has his IE. You know, throughout all that chaos in the last game.
And he's 5-1 and 3.
Yeah, he has been picking up a lot of kills. And, oh, Shiu does have flash, might have to use it here.
Yeah, he's going to get slowed down. The Stranglethorn's going to come down first just to get the mobility out, and then the Grasping Roots are a sitter. Nicely played there by GENG.
And actually, it's a Zyra as well, so... I mean, it's not an issue now, but when Anakin's up, you have to be really cautious about how quickly she can shred through this objective that we've seen so many teams struggle with.
It's double Leandri's, so they really will take down its health bar pretty quickly. We're going to have a look at this fight once again.
Sun comes in, second Sun. I think the big thing is Canyon just not being in range, as if he was, it would have just been immediate death for Lucid. Playing with fire a bit there, and you can see she was trying to hold his dash so he can hop off the minions, but he just doesn't quite hit that fierce minion. If he'd bounced off it then flashed, I think he might have been able to get away, but once again we see she was targeted in the side lane. Stranger's flash still goes down, unfortunately.
And this is something that I think we've seen with Shio in particular, which makes sense given that this is his first really high-profile tournament, well, unless you count Cast Back Up, which
I do.
I probably, really should. As hold that thought as we have a fight for Soul Point here.
Yeah, GENG in good position to do so as they do teleport in.
Poke is big here, though.
Oh, Charm connects onto Beryl. Doesn't take a whole lot of health. Still needs as much health bar as he possibly can get. Lucid doing his very best just to fish with these bowling balls, find some angles, and the Lilia is getting scarier and scarier. We saw that GENG are struggling to engage onto him and then find any joy, because Aiming's very happy to pull the trigger at a moment's notice.
Lucid trying to stack his passive.
This barrel is so frightening. A hook gonna go wide yet again. Beryl taking so much damage from the barrel. It's confusing to say. And the arrow's going to connect as well. He burns down. And GENG don't even need to commit to the fight. And Beryl's just dead.
It's just so difficult to approach against his composition. And GENG, Chovy.
Chovy does watch out, and he doesn't even say eat. He's absolutely fine. Heroic charge onto Shiu, who's now out of position. Stranglethorns to knock him up over and over again. As the Rip Carol flies in, Ruler with a volley to finish off the kill, and now that flank comes through. Lucid hit by that charm as these barrels are coming down, and the non-committal CC is just nutty from GENG here as Chovy dashes on forward, looks for Showmaker now, who's taking so much, another max range charm, and Chovy is going to add that injury to the insult, and Ruler's going to take another one. I mean, the Dragon went down as an afterthought, and GENG just decimate the fight.
They just are completely in control. It feels like constantly D+ are fishing for opportunities, but they're grasping at straws, and GENG feel casual in the way they're decimating them.
A barrel arrow takes down Beryl. Doesn't really get to play the game there.
What?
Barrel arrow.
Ah, barrel.
Yeah, no, barrel arrow.
Oh, got it. Yeah, arrow. Sorry, I forgot. This
barrel,
is the arrow and
barrel, arrow.
Got it.
I feel like GENG, we saw Chovy do this last game in the Aurora, controlling that banana brush and just making it impossible to approach. And then we have this play where it's just like steadily moving up, throwing pieces of CC and seeing what connects. And I think, once again, the Rise is just having such a difficult time here as it's a mobile pick. Like, Showmaker charges forwards to gets root and immediately pays for it.
And this is something that, again, and we need to keep repeating this because it just hasn't felt like we've seen this GENG, right? This control in team fights. This
Not
slow and
since
steady.
the matchup against HLE.
Yeah, in what was it, week 1?
Week 1, game 1. It was like their very first match.
And Duro, whenever he's dying now, it feels like it serves a purpose, right? It feels like Ruler has connected. Canyon is not just by virtue of his play, but just by the virtue of the team play, which was so sorely missing, building a colossal lead over Lucid. And then, yeah, you know, Chovy Keen, no notes. You guys have been great.
Yeah.
Keep it up. And now Otacon's taken, and it feels like that dream of even a game 4 we might have to forego.
The thing is, especially when you think of like the win cons and the team fight for D+, which is honestly like a big CC combo with the, oh no.
Okay, yeah, Shu is in trouble. The arrow was to predict a flash that never actually eventuated, and then Duro just catches him. Steadfast Presence was always there. That was the mind game that Shu was playing, and he's going to lose. GENG going to augment that with a dead turret as this inner just kind of evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the final win con for D+ is like a big CC combo.
Or just him being sent home.
I don't get to finish my points because I don't even know how to explain what's going on. What Ruler just, I mean, he has Otakon, so I guess
he needed to buy. He could afford the Bloodthirster, as you can see.
Fast recall.
It's not fast. It takes 15 seconds.
I mean, you also have to
tell
move
him.
into a
Why are you
safe
telling
place
us?
and things like that. You know, maybe he felt like he needed to walk all the way back to the side of the map.
A safe place, like anywhere on the map, because they're 6k gold ahead.
You also donate 200 gold to the team. You can deduct that off your taxes. I'm pretty sure charitable donation.
It's
and
philanthropy.
D+ are definitely in need right now. So
is that where we've gotten in this series? We're just making quips because it's so over.
It is feeling a bit over.
You know, the point I was trying to make is that there's like double stasis on Canyon and Chovy. They each have like a Zhonya's or a Seekers. You have Mikhail's on Duro. You have Orange's on Keen. The dream of like a big sleep is dead.
You
it's
also
not going to happen.
Ruler has cleanse very soon.
Well, Arrow is going to miss here, but the Stranglethorns does not. And there's another circle, the Venn diagram of death here from GENG as Lucid and Beryl are just dead before they can really do anything.
I think the real thing we have to discuss and get to the bottom of is what powers does Jonah Strong have?
Well, this is okay, so I mentioned this off air. I am pretty sure that Jonah Strong is proof that time travel does indeed exist. And in fact, we're just living in Back to the Future 2. Because I think he's Biff. I actually think he's just Biff.
I think to predict that GENG could show up again and make a comeback and show better form, I don't think that is that crazy, right? A few people predicted GENG. But the 3-0 to come into today after seeing them against Dongshim and be like, it's a 3-0.
He is the OG. I think he just truly believes in Chovy more than any of us could possibly do. Because I feel like every time you ask him about it, he's like, yeah, Chovy's the best. So like, I just predict 3-0 for him, and then
I really.
But the thing is, the other time with the great prediction, it wasn't a 3-0. What specifically about what led up to this point made him think 3-0?
All right, Hail Mary.
Maybe it's the turnaround as Ruler is going to flash. That puts him in pretty good position because there's a teleport coming on forward. That's going to be Chovy joining a 3-man Nah. But if it happens when nobody's watching, doesn't really happen as now Chovy's fighting Showmaker. Showmaker finds himself outnumbered as well. Heroic charge is gorgeous as they take down Lucid. And Showmaker going golden in the nick of time. Chovy dashing away. And GENG, they leave Beryl up to go back and send a message to his people as they are now looking to take down the final Nexus in this series.
She's knocking on the doors now. The Bays closed it out. GENG with such a dominant performance. Honestly, their best performance we've seen in the LCK Cup and coming at the perfect time when they need it. Beryl alone to try.
This is called peaking when you absolutely need to, as GENG will take down Nexus's 1 and 2. Duro dodging that hook beautifully with the heroic charge. And man, a clean 3-0. Nothing to see here. And what I would have said was who could have seen it coming? But we have the answer. It's Jonah Strong. He saw it coming from a mile off.
And with Humble Life, we had many of the same qualms coming into playoffs. It felt like the individual players has had great moments, but it just didn't all come together. And here today, I think a lot of the criticism to DK is going to be valid. I feel like they haven't really performed the way that we've seen them do previously, but at the same time, this Gen G is not the Gen G that we had seen at any point.
I think you need to vote for POM.
No, I know, I already put it in as well, but I guess I'll do a quick
another
double
one.
up.
Yeah, we've got to make sure that we get them in there.
You know, I feel like if there's a Gen G fan who watched the first series of the LCK Cup and then went into a coma and woke up today, seamless, completely seamless, they'll just watch it and be like, wow, yeah, Gen G, that's just Gen G.
I think they'd still be a bit surprised, though, because we're going into a grand final and it's not Gen G versus T1.
That's true.
So they'd be like,
true.
wow, why isn't T1 in the final? That's probably what the coma patient would say. But this would not, like, all of the drama leading up to this moment definitely would be lost.
I feel like that adds so much to Gen G, though. Overcoming the struggles.
Oh, look at the relief, man.
That was an extra loud cheer. I already extra loud cheer there for Duro, which I think he needed that. And you could see it on his face.
And the thing is, it's not just that Gen G won despite Duro. He was such a massive contributor today. He had a really good series. And I think it's taken time. They talked about how the scrims have been going well, with seeing why they were confident bringing Duro in and how they look when it clicks.
And it's something that you actually talked about a lot, but did is also mentioned as many times. For a support in particular, you need to both trust yourself and your team needs to trust you, because you're the one that's often going in. And if you're disjointed with them, it just looks, and we've seen this, there was a reason we looked up the most deaths. It's only supports, because they're the ones that are going to have to go in when things are looking dire. And in this game, everything clicked for Gen G.
Well, that's the thing. So much in the LCK Cup, we've praised Lehens and Beryl for what they've done for their teams, but often they've had times where they've gone so aggressive and ended up dying, and it's cost them their lives. And the thing is, these players are veterans. It doesn't shake them. Beryl will die 100 times in a game, and he'll keep going. But I think Duro, like, the pressure was clearly getting to him. He's playing with such veterans. But today, he really rose up, and he was confident with his play. He made plays happen, and he was doing his role flawlessly.
And to me, again, I think Showmaker had a rough day. But outside of that, looking at Lucid, for example, I don't even feel like he had a rough day. It was just like Pete Canyon was back, right? The Vi was amazing. And that's a champion that I think historically he has really struggled on. The Zyra was textbook. Showmaker was the guy that was next to him when he did this a million times.
Canyon just little broed Lucid and said, I'm the OG.
I'm the DK jungler, by the way. Where's your world's title, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't quite have it yet. It's great to see.
Yeah? Are you from the future too, Atlas?
Leave the predictions to Jonas Strong.
I did make sure that I said 3-2 though, just to try and throw them off. You know, you don't want to be too right.
Yeah, Jonas Strong's a bit too obvious. He's gonna be investigated.
But you see, that's why Jonas Strong sometimes throws them away, you know, in some of the predictions.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get all of them right, so it keeps people guessing. The man's a genius, and we will never doubt him ever again. Let's have a look at some of these stats here in the postgame. Aiming was getting a lot of work done with these bullet times, but ultimately it didn't really matter because Gen G were just able to get all their ducks in a row. Felt like Ruler did a lot more than I was expecting him to in this game, to be perfectly honest. I thought that the damage graph would be ruled by Canyon.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems with Canyon not doing as much damage was people died a bit too quickly.
Yeah,
ran out of health. If there's more tanks on the side of D+, I think he would have done about 1 million damage.
Well, Chovy is going to pick up player of the match, and I'm pretty sure neither of you guys voted for him.
No.
I would have voted for Duro. Because,
I love that.
Because I just think he deserves it for being so much better than last time.
I was deciding between Duro and Canyon, and for similar reasons, as you said, because Canyon was also much better than last time. But I think those two really let a lot of plays, had some great performances. But I think this is one of those series where I expect a very split vote, because everyone played well.
I went for Keen. Which, if you think back to his Rumble game, if you think to that Cassante, like Cassante is kind of a no-brainer, but even his Rumble, I think
Keen
was
Cassante? Whoa,
I know,
crazy.
But it's a Chovy vote. Is anyone ever going to be mad about a Chovy vote? No. He gapped Showmaker immensely, and that is something that DK is going to have to look towards, because to me, I think we saw Shiyu, you know, as a newer player, I think we really saw it in the NAR game in particular, kind of showing those classic mistakes of just dying and still giving up your flash and playing so disciplined on the previous game and then not quite being able to make it on this one. But man, Gen G, what a complete and utter turnaround, and that sets up for quite a final.
Yeah, and it just really feels like a welcome back. I feel like we had the welcome moment for Hammer Life Esports earlier on. We've got it finally here for GENG, and it's on the verge of an LCK rematch of the summer final. And Orcs, what will your prediction be? Because you were the god of this matchup last time.
I need some time to think about it. I might need to consult whatever Jonas Strong does.
It's fine. We got you. For me, you know, my predictions, as much as we joke about it, you know.
I know you care the most. I don't know why I asked him first.
Well, so I want you to think back to the Humble Life and GENG series. Think about how there were only 2 players on GENG playing the game and how it went to 5 games.
So you're saying that if we connect
if there's
all of
5
the players at once,
you know, I'm feeling pretty good about GENG.
I will say, though, it does seem like he'll be a 5-gamer because that's all HLE is.
It has to.
So far.
Well, but then HLE win.
And your reason for predicting HLE last time was that they were due.
Yes.
They're not quite as due anymore because they won the last 2 times in best of 5s, right?
Yeah.
Well, here are the predictions. Jonas Strong, our Lord and Savior. We knew it already, but it is confirmed once again. And I think it is now getting towards time for the POM interview. And I believe we have G-Sun standing by for some translation as well. No, we are actually still going to be waiting a little bit longer because a player needed to go to the bathroom. And so we need to make sure that they're not going to be standing on stage dancing around.
Yeah. Is it going to be the team-wide interview? Because if that's the case, then you definitely those can go on.
It's not just Chovy would be throwing him under the bus. Chovy needed to go to the bathroom. He's making us all wait.
We don't know who. You know, that's
who.
the magical part. I think also a good opportunity to say the final words on DK, because tomorrow we're going to talk plenty about GENG and Humble Life. I still think they had a good LCK Cup. I think towards the end we started to see some of the issues that they faced when they faced consecutively stronger teams.
Unfortunately, they faced Wadid's prediction.
That actually, it felt like, because even in that Game 5 against Halma, you know, they were in a pretty good spot. But today, there was none of that. Like, they were very clearly outclassed. And that's a bit of a rough ending. I still think this team will be one of our top contenders throughout the rest of the year, but wasn't meant to be in this one.
No, but it is now time for the POM interview, so let's throw it over to Ji-Sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is, in fact, a post-match interview with the entire squad, including the POM player, who was Chovy. So we are here joined by 4 players on the GENG side, because Ruler needs a little more time, and also Coach Kim. A clean 3-0. Keen, did you see this coming? Well, honestly, not at all. Well, even before the match today, I was kind of doubting whether we can actually win or not, but I'm very glad that we got this clean 3-0. In fact, Jonas Strong predicted a 3-0 win for GENG. Did any of the GENG players predict the 3-0 GENG? Well, none, because our performance until today was pretty disappointing, so we didn't even see this 3-0 coming. And you mentioned previously that because of the current meta, top laners cannot really make a lot of flexible plays, but today we were able to see a very organic play coming from the GENG players. How was it today? I mean, everyone did a fantastic job today, so I was able to kind of get carried. What would you like to focus on a top lane matchup in the finals? You versus Zeus. We played up against each other for so many times, so we have a lot of information about each other. So I think drafting will be very important. And Kenyon, were you expecting this kind of a clean win and qualifying for the finals? I mean, I really wanted to win for sure. And then we actually got a clean 3-0, which I did not expect. I saw an interview where you said you and Duro together are discussing a lot about the level 1 pathing. So what was the main focus when it comes to the matchup up against D plus Kia? Well, it was not D plus Kia specific kind of strategy. We just wanted to go over our own play and decide how we're gonna play out the map in the earlier phase. Now that you qualified for the LCK Cup finals, and if you win the championship, you will qualify for the new international tournament, the first stand. What is your resolution? If we can actually win the LCK Cup, I would really want to win the first stand as well. We will do our best. Chovy. GENG's win streak up against D plus Kia continues. Now you guys are on a 17-match win streak. Well, yes, 2 days before you mentioned that you were going to be the challenger up against D plus Kia, but you managed to get the win. How do you feel? I'm very glad that we were able to take down D plus Kia. I expected us to be the challenger for sure. Was there any specific or special preparation for the D plus Kia match? To be completely honest, we didn't really have much time, so nothing really special, you know. But just like Kenyon mentioned, we wanted to go over a lot about our early jungle pathing together with the support. And what's important about the win today is that you guys got 3 wins on the red side. A lot of teams are showing a higher win rate on the blue side, so what are your thoughts about the side balance? I mean, it depends on the champ select. And so far, our drafting and our performance was not up to par. But today, I think we were able to do our best in any kind of areas possible. And tomorrow will be the finals. What is your mindset and resolution? Yes, it's gonna happen right tomorrow, but we are very confident right now because of the performance that we were able to display today. So I will make sure to get the best results possible. Now, Duro, you guys were able to defeat D plus Kia, who was on an amazing momentum. Well, in the previous match, we could see your struggle a little bit on the player cam, but today you were wearing a big smile. How are you feeling? Well, we have gone through a lot so far, you know, but we, in the end, overcame so many of the difficulties. So it means even more, you know. It's more rewarding that we finally made it to the finals. The previous Nongshim match, you know, you seemed very frustrated, but today you even mentioned that you are kind of awakened. What kind of mindset were you bringing to the match today? I mean, me together with Kenyon had so much conversation about the jungle pathing and the movements together. Also, we were having our coaching staff joining us in the conversation as well. And because of that kind of talk and discussion, I was able to learn so much in such a short period of time. And then today, I was able to kind of show what I've learned. Duro, this is gonna be your first ever LCK roster kind of championship. If you manage to get a win tomorrow, what is your resolution? I really wish I can win tomorrow. I want to make sure that I will continue the form that we showed today. Now, Coach Kim, how are you feeling to make it to the LCK Cup finals? We were on the losers bracket and we barely won the series last time up against Nongshim, so I was so relieved. And then we got another win today, and then we are now at the finals. I hope we can continue this form and get a win tomorrow as well. What was your main focus today? Early on in the game, you know, especially the grub fight, because we were very weak around the grub, so we wanted to bring out better strategy and better kind of tactic around the grub setup. And then I think our performance overall was very shaky, so we wanted to go back to the fundamentals. Any highlight from today, you know, what was the best play so far? I mean, I think it was just pure perfection. All 5 players were doing a wonderful job, so I can't really choose one. I think we were just on the very low last time. I think we are now back onto the right track. I hope we can continue this tomorrow as well. I'm pretty sure the Genji fans are wishing for Genji's revenge. What is your resolution or any final words for the Genji fans? I think our players can get a little bit nervous because it's the finals, especially Juro, the rookie player, relative rookie player. But you know, don't get intimidated because it's the grand finals. You know, you guys are gonna do great. Hopefully tomorrow we can hoist the trophy or the cup together. Unfortunately, Ruler will not be able to join us for the interview, but we were able to hear from all 4 players and Coach Kim on the Genji side. Once again, congratulations on your victory, and we wish you all the best tomorrow in the finals as well. And that's gonna be the end of the interview with the Genji players and the coach, and back to the space. Thank you.
There he is, our player of the match, and heading back on over to the finals. It is Keen from Genji joining us. Welcome. 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다.
All right. Oh, Keen, for the last match, in the previous match against Nongshim, we got to interview Coach Kim, and he said sternly, as a team, you had many things that you needed to work on, but Genji looked very, very good today. What was the point of improvement from yesterday to today?
사실 지난 농심전 끝나고 저희가 김정수 감독님을 모시고 인터뷰를 진행했을 때는 꽤나 단호하게 우리 보완해야 될 부분이 정말 많은 것 같다라고 말씀해 주셨는데요. 오늘 굉장히 하루 만에 준비 시간 만에 엄청난 발전을 보여주셨다고 생각합니다. 어느 부분에 집중해서 이렇게 개선된 경기력이 나올 수 있었나요?
일단 저희가 이제 경기 중에 계속 좀 움직임 같은 것들이 너무 경직되고 좀 상대방을 좀 계속 따라간다 약간 그런 느낌을 많이 받아가지고 이제 그런 움직임부터 시작해가지고 이제 저희가 할 거 과감하게 하자 약간 이런 쪽으로 좀 얘기를 많이 나눴던 것 같습니다.
In the past matches, I felt like we were like frozen, you know, we were not proactive at all. We were just being chased by the opponents, or we were just following them. So we wanted to make sure that next time, let's just play our game.
All right. Well, in the Korean post-match interview, right after the match ended, you mentioned you weren't fully sure that you were going to win today, and I appreciated that honesty. How do you balance confidence with managing doubt?
그리고 방금 경기 종료 후 인터뷰에서 솔직하게 오늘 경기장에 오면서도 우리가 이길지 말지 확신이 없었다라고 해주셨는데 이런 상황 속에서 자신감을 어떻게 잘 유지하면서도 또 의구심을 잘 떨쳐버릴 수 있나요?
사실 뭐 당연히 자신감이 없었던 건 아닌데 이제 아무래도 그 전에 경기력이 좀 안 좋았다 보니까 좀 위축된 그런 느낌도 있었는데 그래도 경기장에서 막상 대회를 이제 하다 보니까 그런 감정보다는 좀 계속 집중해서 좀 그런 감정들이 먼저 되는 것 같아서 그냥 자연스럽게 좀 그런 위축되고 그런 모습들이 좀 없어졌던 것 같습니다.
Well, of course we had some doubts, but it doesn't mean that, you know, we're not confident at all, you know. We still had some confidence. It was more about the recent games and matches that we played that were very kind of disappointing, but today after the games got started, we were able to warm up and kind of realized that we are doing a very great job. So I just went with the vibe that I was feeling in game, and then we were able to play at ease.
Oh, you definitely did. Let's speak about the team now. You're returning along with Canyon and with Chovy and have new members, Ruler and Duro, coming back in. What has been easy as they've come back in, and what has taken some more work to fit them back in?
젠지 라인업도 살짝 바뀌었잖아요. 상체는 그대로고 이제 바텀 듀오가 새로운 이제 팀원들과 함께하게 되었는데요. 어떤 부분은 합을 맞추기 쉬웠고 어떤 부분은 좀 시간이 오래 걸렸나요?
사실 이제 상체끼리는 이제 좀 아무래도 작년에 한 게 있어서 이제 말을 안 해도 어느 정도 이제 같이 되는 그런 게 있었는데 이제 아무래도 바텀 듀오가 새로 들어오기도 했고 계속 라인 수업에서는 좀 바텀이 주가 된다고 생각을 해서 이제 그런 부분에 있어서 다시 새로 맞춰야 된다는 게 이제 탑 입장에서는 조금 힘든 부분도 있었던 것 같아요.
Because the top side of the map, we've been together the entire year last year, so we don't even have to speak about what we're gonna do next. You know, we just read our minds. But because we have the new bot duo and because of the current lane swap meta, I think personally, that bot duos are the main character of lane swap, so it was very difficult for me to kind of get used to it and adjust it to the new bottom duo together coming with the lane swap situation.
Ah, I see. When it comes to Fearless Draft and your champ pool, which is very big, how do you enjoy Fearless Draft, and do you like it more than regular draft?
기인 선수는 또 챔프 폭이 굉장히 넓으신데 그런 만큼 피어리스 드래프트를 어떻게 잘 즐기고 계신지 기존 뱀픽과 비교했을 때 어떤 모드가 더 마음에 드시나요?
좀 장점 단점이 있는 것 같은데 이제 장점이라고 한다면은 좀 아무래도 연습 때도 좀 그동안 못 해본 챔피언들 하면서 이제 재미를 느낀 챔피언들도 좀 있었고 이제 좀 단점이라고 한다면은 좀 그 챔피언의 자신감이 좀 많이 있는 챔피언이 한 번 쓰면 다음에는 좀 못 쓰게 되는 그런 느낌이 좀 아쉬운 것 같아요.
For sure, Fearless has both good and the bad. Good thing is that even in scrims, I get to play some new champions. For me personally, I get to find some new friends that were really fun to play. But the downside is that when you play your favorite or your strongest champion one time, now it's gone. So you cannot really repeat the same dominance again.
A follow-up to that. In the finals, do you have a Fearless champion that you haven't played yet in mind? You don't have to say who it is.
결승전에 혹시 뭐 구체적으로 어떤 픽이다라고 말해주실 필요는 없지만 또 이제 나만의 준비한 피어리스 무기가 있을까요?
아직 대회 안 꺼낸 챔피언은 있는데 솔직히 이게 나올지는 잘 모르겠어가지고 그냥 일단 재미는 있어서 뭐 계속 한 번씩 해보고 있는 것 같습니다.
For sure, but I'm not really even sure that whether I can actually play it on stage, but it is for sure very fun to play, so I'm excited. We'll see.
All right, we'll see. Well, you've actually opened up your Twitter account, which has been very active. But did you know your #1 fan on Twitter is sitting right next to you here? It's Ji-sun. Did you know that Ji-sun was your #1 fan?
트위터 굉장히 활발하게 활동하시고 사실 엄청난 구독자거든요. 모든 트윗을 제가 이 물결 말투와 함께 즐기고 있는데 알고 계셨나요?
사실 트위터를 최근에는 안 들어갔어가지고 그 전에는 이제 댓글 달아주신 거 이제 봤었는데 최근에는 들어가진 않았는데 계속 달아주실 줄은 몰랐네요.
Actually, I haven't checked my Twitter recently, so I didn't know. I was Ji-sun was spamming replies up until these days, but I've seen in the past that I was frequently replying to his tweets, so he was impressed.
That's right. Don't forget to use your flash, y'all. That's what one of those says. All right, and if you had to vote for... Oh, wait, no, I have one more. My Korean is ready. 왜 구글이에요? 기구리.
왜 기구리인가요?
That's his nickname.
이제 팬분들이 이제 개구리 그런 캐릭터를 닮았다고 많이 해주시고 그리고 또 이름이 기인이라서 그냥 합쳐서 약간 기구리 이런 쪽으로 많이 하는 것 같아요.
So my fans gave me this nickname because there's this froggy character that I kind of look alike. So and my name is also Kiin. So Kiguri and Kiin and Keguri together works really well. So I went with Kiguri.
Kiguri. Got it. I like that one. If you had to vote for player of the match, who would it be and what would the comment be? And you can still vote for yourself.
오늘 나도 POM을 뽑을 수 있다면 누구에게 투표할 건지 본인 포함 그리고 나의 한 줄 코멘트는 무엇일까요?
솔직히 오늘 경기에서는 저보다는 그래도 힘내준 그래도 듀로 이제 민규가 POM이 됐으면 좋겠네요.
줄 코멘트는?
한 줄. 그거 Use your flash.
I would like to give it over to Duro, who was able to step up so much today. So yeah, use your flash.
Yeah, love that one there. And then finally, you're heading into the match, into the finals with a single day to prepare. What do you want out of this finals? It could be the win, it could be play well. What do you want out of this finals?
그럼 다가오는 결승전은 어떤 모습을 가장 보여주고 싶으신가요? 꼭 우승하고 싶다든지 뭐 이런 경기력을 보여주고 싶다든지.
일단 당연히 우승하는 모습을 보여드리고 싶고 그래도 이제 우승을 하지 못하더라도 팀적으로 계속 완성된 모습 보여드리는 게 이제 두 번째 목표인 것 같습니다.
Of course, first and foremost, I would really want to win the cup or the trophy. And secondly, even if we might not be able to achieve that, I want to showcase our firm and strong and solid performance together as a team.
last question. Please address to your fans. What would you like to say to them?
마지막으로 팬분들께 한마디 부탁드립니다.
Thank you very much.
Wow, Keen, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on stage. Congratulations to making it to the LCK Cup Finals.
축하드리고요. 인터뷰 너무너무 감사드립니다.
All right. Well.